Morning, everybody. Here we are again. It's Friday. It's tea and toast time. And Luke's with me again today. Morning, Luke.
How you doing? You all good?
All right. Are you?
Yeah. Yeah, good, thanks.
Good. A bit better today. Although we were just saying it's really cold, but at least it's not raining. Not like yesterday. Yesterday was awful. The sun did come out. Actually, it turned quite nice here in the afternoon, and it was cold but very bright, so made up for that horrendous rain we had in the morning.
It's dull and cold here today.
Yeah, dull and cold here too. So yeah, hope everybody is doing well today. It's Friday, thank the Lord. So happy it's Friday. I'm looking forward to the weekend. It feels like the week's gone quick. I know, I feel really tired this week. I don't know if it's the weather or just life. But yeah, I have to say I'm very glad it's Friday. Okay, so enough of my waffling. Let's move on to what we're going to talk about this morning. So Luke and I had a chat yesterday and thought, what can we speak about today? What's, sort of relevant? And we thought, well, I don't know if everybody knows, but this week has actually been anti-bullying week. Luke was just saying, and I know a lot of other schools, some schools are sort of doing an anti-bullying awareness day today and wearing odd socks into school. My kids' school aren't doing that. But yeah, so it's anti-bullying week and it's such an important topic and obviously relevant to this week. So we thought we'd have a chat about that really. So bullying, I mean, it can happen to anyone, anywhere, anytime. Luke, did you see on the news this morning, it's just quite random really, they were talking about Priti Patel, the MP. She's been accused of bullying some of her civil servants who work for her.
I didn't see it, no. What was it?
Yeah, it was on the news this morning. I was watching Good Morning Britain. Yeah, so apparently there's going to be a bit of an investigation because she's been accused of bullying some of the people that work for her. But apparently she wasn't aware that she was doing it. So there's a little bit of a, typical government thing there. But I just thought that was quite interesting, since that we were speaking about bullying today, because I guess when you mention the word bullying, to me, the first thing that comes to my head is school and kids and, bullying that goes on at school, which absolutely it does. But I think it's important to remember that it also goes on in so many other places. There's bullying in the workplace. Adults can get bullied. It isn't something that just happens to children. So yeah, it's really important to remember that. And no, it's not just something that happens to children. And if perhaps you're in a situation within your work or something, and you're thinking it's not feeling quite right, it could be a fact that perhaps you are having some bullying. So what would you? Let's talk about children to begin with. And as a parent, what signs would you think to look out for, Luke, if you thought a child of yours was being bullied? Do you know?
Well, quiet, acting not how they'd normally act. A bit emotional maybe.
Yeah.
Bruised and knocked about as well. Not eating maybe as well.
Definitely. Yeah. I've got a few things in what actually you just said, Luke. So some of the signs to look out for if you're worried about your child or is they're acting differently. So as a parent, your child inside out. And if they're acting sort of a bit differently and, there's not really, you can't sort of put your finger on why, perhaps that's something to keep an eye out for. Another sign could be that they're very anxious. If they're not normally an anxious child before, it could be that, they're suffering with anxiety because of perhaps some bullying going on. As Luke said, not eating, that can be another sign, but also not sleeping. If generally they've always been a good sleeper and they start not to sleep or, I mean, let me just say that if the child is displaying one of these symptoms, it doesn't automatically mean that they're being bullied. It just means that, we're just giving you some advice and perhaps things to look out for if you do have a concern about your child. So yeah, not eating or not sleeping, a different sleeping pattern, and not doing the things they normally enjoy, they usually enjoy. Perhaps they're used to going out to play with their friends after school. I mean, not COVID times, obviously, let's take COVID out of the scenario, but perhaps they're used to playing out, or they used to walk to school with their friends. Perhaps they are, you know, avoiding those situations. Perhaps if your child used to take the bus to school, and for some reason now that they're saying that they don't want to, you know, because that's another thing. Bullying can happen in its form before they even reach the school gates, can't it? If your child's old enough to get themselves to school, whether it be walking or on a bus, or that's quite an important time where things can happen, because there's not really the parent or the teacher or that authority person around to keep an eye on things. So yeah, just keep an eye out for perhaps, you know, they're not wanting to do the clubs they used to do or really enjoy, because that might be a sign that something more is going on there.
Exactly. You say that it happens before you can even get into the school, like into the school gates, but even before that, because so many children now, and they are children, they got phones,
I know.
You know, WhatsApp and things like that, and
well,
bullying it can be any time, can't it?
Yeah. Well, this is the thing, and this is the worry nowadays, because when I was younger, I didn't have a phone. I think I got my first phone when I was about, I don't know, I want to say 17 for some reason. But I was, you know, if I was meeting my friends in town, we used to just organise a place to meet, and you just wait there. I mean, you couldn't text them to check if they were coming.
No, nothing. The phones weren't the same as they are now either, were they, as well?
No, that's it.
Yeah, you just literally call and text and play Snake. That's about all you could do on the phones then, but you do everything now.
No, and the social media platforms of nowadays are so different. You know, there was no Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, any of those sort of things when I was growing up. So there's a whole world more pressure on our young people these days and our children, growing up. But yeah, like Luke just said, it's not just with it happening at school or after school or before school. It's the cyberbullying that can happen now as well. So we'll go back a bit more into the cyberbullying in a minute, but I just wanted to finish my list of this, of what, you know, maybe some signs to look out for. So if your child or your young person seems a lot moodier than normal, or is a lot more easily upset, that could also be a sign that perhaps something's going on. I think it's really, really important just to try and keep communication open with your children as much as possible. My children are only 10 and 7, and I take them to school and I pick them up, and they're not of an age yet where they will go and do anything without a parent or anyone being there. So I know really what's going on, you know, 90% of the time. My son does have a phone, but
we get the door 1 second, sorry.
Oh, okay. Someone's at Luke's door. Must be the postman. But yeah, my son has a phone, but myself and my husband check it continuously. He doesn't actually have a lot of people's numbers on there, to be honest. It's I more wanted him to have it because he's going up to secondary next year, and we'll, you know, be leaving some friends he's made at school, so then he'll then be able to keep in contact with people. But yeah, keeping communication open with your children, and if they have access, even if they haven't got a phone, even things like iPads and stuff now, there's so many different platforms and things where they can interact with other people, and where things can happen where, you know, perhaps you're not sure. It's when you lose touch of what's going on with them. We're really hot. My daughter's got an iPad, and she, you know, she doesn't have any social media or anything, but we're always checking on what they're looking at and watching, and, you know, my son's phone, because it's just so important. I mean, I don't know how many times it's becoming too often really that you hear children that have taken their own lives because of bullying, because of receiving so many text messages. And I mean, it's cruel. Kids can be so cruel, can't they? And as a parent, it makes me feel scared. I worry about my son's going to secondary next year, and I think that's when things sort of reap up a level, don't they? You know, they're mixing with a lot of older kids, and you worry as a parent. You worry. I don't know. Do you feel the same, Luke?
Yeah, I mean, I've got a few years before my daughter's up to that stage in school, but yeah, I mean, even just in everyday life, and even at school now, even at a young age she is now, yeah, it's always a worry. But I suppose I am worried about it, but at the same time, I know that I've explained, even at this young age, which you shouldn't have to do, but you do have to do, is I've explained to my daughter. I mean, she's only 5, but I've explained, you know, what a bully is, what to do if you're getting bullied and stuff, and hopefully she'd listen to it and take it on board. But we know kids don't always feel confident, even if they're really confident with you in normal life. Something happens like that, and kind of like confidence goes, and it's not always something you hear about straight away, is it?
Yeah. And also, it's like you say, they can be the most confident of children, but you throw them into a scenario where they're perhaps being bullied or picked on, it can make them go really introvert, and it can make them, you know, I've read things and heard stories about when actually the child then believes it's their fault, that they've done something to warrant being bullied or picked on, which is awful, because you never want them to feel like that, but unfortunately that's what can happen. So that's why it's so important. And I think it's going to get harder as it gets older. At the minute, my kids tell me everything, but like I say, they're 10 and 7, and we chat about everything, and I want to be the parent that always has the line of communication with them. But as they get that bit older, I know it will change, and I think it's just making them aware that you're always there if they need to talk to you, isn't it? So yeah, it's a difficult one, but I guess if you came across, you know, say that your child come home and made you aware that they're suffering some bullying or they're being picked on, what's the right thing to do? What should you do? So definitely the first thing I think is, if they open up to you and they want to tell you this information, you've got to keep calm. It's not going to help if you're that parent who's going to get, right, that's it, I'm going, you know, because I think that's not going to help the situation. Although inside you're feeling like that, because I would. I'd be, right, that's it, down to school, you know, but you know, you've got to be calm, you've got to offer comfort to them, and let them talk, let them spill what they need to spill and say what they need to say, and just remind them that, you know, they haven't done anything wrong, and praise them for actually doing the right thing and speaking up and telling you. I guess the next thing would be to speak to school. If it's the school scenario that you're in, you would need to go and address it, whether that be with their teacher or the headmaster, whoever you feel is the most appropriate person at the school to go and speak to. I don't know at your school, Luke, but we have like a wellbeing lady at our school. She's a teacher. She doesn't have a class, but she deals with all like the well-being of the children, and you know, she's the sort of person that the children in our school know that if they have got a problem or if they're feeling upset or down or worried, she's the lady to go to. So perhaps if you had that sort of well-being lady in your school, or you know, whatever educational setting we're talking about, there may be someone who's quite good to go and have that chat with and is used to dealing with those sort of things.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
I mean, most places now, you know, not just schools, colleges, universities, they have like anti-bullying procedures and policies in place, don't they? Because it's such an important thing. And yeah, there will be someone there for you to speak to who will be able to help you deal with the situation in the correct way. Because I guess, you know, none of us really know what we're doing. It's, you know, we don't get a guidebook on parenting, do we? It's you know, we're just thrown in at the deep end, and we're all trying to do our best. So speak to school, and even if they're not the right person for you to speak to, they will put you in touch with someone within that setting who can. I suppose a big one of this is don't tell your child to retaliate, because it can have unpredictable results. Now, this is a tricky one, and it's
a very tricky one.
Confused. For example, my husband has always said to my son, if someone hits you, you hit them back. Is that the right thing, though? Don't know. What would be? I don't know. I'm honestly, I'm on the fence on it, because I don't know. Because in some ways, I do feel like, well, if someone does punch you, you punch them back. But should you?
I think there's different situations, isn't there? I think there's different situations. It's a hard one. It's a hard one, and people think differently about different situation. You know.
Yeah. I guess you'd have to look at each scenario as it is. You know, if we're talking about a scenario where the child has been going through a while of bullying, perhaps the best thing is
it an ongoing thing? Is it an ongoing thing where you've been to school haven't done anything about it, and you know the kid repeatedly getting hit, and you're going down the right channels, doing everything you can, and nothing happens? Because that does happen. It does happen. You can go. They can have anti-bullying policies, and you know, and they can appear to be doing the right thing, but they don't always do the right thing. Management, head teachers, and that's the fact of it. And that's how bullying can carry on going on without it being stopped early doors. You know.
And I think that's the sad thing about it. Sometimes that you feel like by going to the school or going down that correct sort of route should be the end to it, but it isn't. And sometimes that isn't enough. So yeah, I don't know. Let us know what your thoughts are, because I'm interested, because this is quite an interesting one. Do you tell your child to retaliate, or do you tell them to walk away?
Or do you, if you spoke to school and it's not worked, you talk to the parents? You know, go and talk to the parents of the other child and things like that. That's
another tricky situation, isn't it? Because
I think it should definitely happen if the school not going to do it, and I think you should find a way to do it the right way. You know, not just turn up at the house. Maybe find a way to do it the correct way.
Yeah, no, I don't. But I sort of feel with that you don't know then what sort of can of worms you might be opening, and what the family that you know, don't get me wrong, if my child was being bullied and then it wasn't getting sorted out by school, and you know, I would do everything within my power to help them. If you cut school, that person of authority, out of the equation, and you sort of go direct to the source, it just makes me feel uncomfortable or a bit uneasy as to what you could then be dealing with, if you know what I mean. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I've heard of stories when, you know, the school hasn't done anything, not my school, just in general, the school hasn't done anything. So the parents have thought, well, sod this, I'm going to go directly to the family. And then that's ended up in parents then having a full-on fist fight, very nasty words said to each other. And it sort of feels like then the adults are,
you can just do the things that you're in control of the right way. You can't control how they're going to retaliate to it, can you?
No.
As long as you go down the right way of doing it, then you know.
Definitely.
And it's another thing as well is some children and adults, I say more so children, is that when they are bullying, a lot of times they probably don't know they're doing it. And you don't know. I mean, you don't necessarily mean that that person's a bad person. It probably just means they've got something going on, or you don't know. So that's why it's important to go the right way about it.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I think that's actually a really valid point you just said then. You know, sometimes the children don't know that they're being bullied. Sometimes, they've got other stuff going at home. Not that that makes it acceptable or okay, but it just means that perhaps you need to delve a bit deeper. Not us, maybe the school need to delve a bit deeper into that sort of situation and find out what's going on there, because obviously something is making that child react and act the way they are.
I'm not sure. Is there anyone? Let's say you have got a school that are not dealing with it properly. Is there an organisation or of any sort that you can get help from? Or?
Well, I've got a look, and there's a few sort of online places that you can go. So the first one is www.nationalbullyinghelpline.co.uk. So you can go to them. I'll put all these links in the comments bit in a minute. Also, you can go on to www.gov.uk. They've actually got an anti-bullying helpline now. And then also there's www.antibullyingalliance.org.uk. So I guess that may be an avenue if you feel the school aren't dealing with it, you sort of hit a brick wall and you don't know which way to go. It's probably quite handy to get in touch with one of them, because I'm sure they'd be able to point you in the right direction. I mean, it's a really, really tricky one, isn't it, bullying? What about if the sort of shoe was on the other foot and you had a phone call from school that said, I'm really sorry, but your child has been bullying? You're going to hold your room there.
Oh, then it was a table. Camera fell off.
Oh gosh. Yeah, so I mean
the same way. You should deal with it, really. It's the correct way, isn't it? You know, go do everything properly, speak to your child, find out what's going on at school, find out why they're doing it, if they know they're doing it. Explain to them that it's wrong. Yeah,
no, definitely. Yeah, it's a really important subject, and obviously that's why there's Bullying Week, because there is so much of it that goes on, and just.
But again, you know, as always, open your mouth and speak to people.
Yeah,
it's important. With everything.
Communicate.
Whether you're an adult, child, you know.
No, definitely.
Yeah.
And also, I know we've really spoken about schools that it can happen in the workplace. And if you're worried, or you think perhaps you are dealing with some bullying in the workplace, there will be avenues where you can go. There'll be, what is it? Like your HR department, they will have a sort of person who will be, able to help you with that, I'm sure. Or it may be, if it's your boss, perhaps you need to go above your boss and hire and make someone, but speak about it. Always communication, as though it's a hard subject to talk about, and it's a hard one to actually put your hand up and say, I think this is happening to me. But the minute you do that, it's going to get better and it's going to get easier. And there'll be people there to support you. Yeah,
and if you are getting bullied by, let's say, your boss, and you don't know where to go because it's a complicated thing, isn't it? You know who's in charge of this and that.
Yeah.
If you don't know, then you have like if you don't know, come to us and we can try and help you, I suppose, can't we? You know, like the organisations you've got there as well. They could tell you, what the next route is you need to take, and
if part of a union, you could contact your union rep.
That was what I was looking for, union.
Yeah. So if you're part of a union, that's someone that you can contact within your company you work for. You can contact your union rep. They'll be able to advise you, and that's why it's really important, if you can be part of a union, because that's where you get all the support, and they've got your back more so than maybe at a time when you really need it. I mean, I don't think I've got anything more to add on bullying. You, Luke, do you think we've probably covered?
I think we've covered quite a lot in the time that we've had. No, I can't.
But like you said, we're here. If you feel like you've got something going on and you don't know if you've got anything, we are here. You can always contact us. I'll just remind you of our email address. It's shout@communitycourtyard.org. And you can also contact us on any of our social media platforms and we'll get back to you. So I think that brings us to an end of our tea and toast this morning. That was a nice little discussion. Thank you guys for joining us. I'll put those links as soon as I end the video now. I'll stick those links in the comment box for you, just so you've got them to refer back to if needs be. I hope that you won't need them, but you know, it's always good to have them just in case. And on that note, have a great weekend, everybody. Take care. Yeah. Oh, Luke, that's quickly what we was going to do. Where are we up to on our 3,000 push-up? What's our figure? Do you know? We was going to tell everyone today.
Oh, we are on 690 something.
Okay.
It is.
690 something.
Yeah, 690. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. So next Friday we'll do the same and see where we are a week down the line. And
next
then
Friday will be yeah, we'll do it. What's the date next Friday?
Let me have a quick look. The date next Friday is the 27th. We'll only have like 28, 29, 30, 4 days left after that.
Easy.
Gosh, we've got a lot of work to do, guys. I'll have to start doing these press ups this weekend. Okay, so yeah, we'll let you know next Friday where we're at. Hopefully, we need to be at least 2,000. We've got to. Steve,
we'll be at 2,000.
Luke, me, we've got to go and get going. All right then, guys. Well, yeah, that's it from us this morning. Have a great weekend. Yeah, I know it's not going to be the most exciting because we're on lockdown, but try and get outside and get some fresh air. Do some press ups and do some for us and help us because we need the help.
Send some in.
Send some in. Let us know. All right,
2,000 would be ideal. You know, you get 2,000 done, send them in to us.
Yeah, anyone who can do 2,000, we pay in biscuits and tea and coffee. So, you know, let us know. All right then, guys. Have a good one. See you later.
Yeah, have a good weekend.
Bye.
In a bit.